At the Chatham-Kent Community Athletic Complex, good evening. It is Mike Renier along with Mike James, CV Kojiko, and the Chatham-Kent Cougars varsity team looking for their first win on this very rainy, windy evening at the complex. And the Cougars will have the football to start off the game against the North Halton Crimson Tide in varsity football as the Cougars receive the football past the 35-yard line. And a pretty decent opening field position, but the conditions less than ideal tonight here, Michael.
Yeah, it's certainly difficult conditions to say the least. Wind gusts anywhere from 50 to 70 kilometers an hour this evening, according to Environment Canada. We were projected to get up to 2.5 inches of rain over about a 24-hour span, and as you can see, it is not great out there on the field. The field looks to be in pretty good shape at this point, but again, this is the first game on the field today, so it hasn't been torn up at all. Expect that to change.
And a good drainage system here, too, by and large, the athletic complex. So we'll see how this passes out here. And the snap quite high. Quarterback, though, able to hang on to the football, keeps it himself. And Evans doing a good job to corral that high snap and still get some positive yardage on that play, about 4 yards on that pickup on 1st and 10.
Yeah, that's a heads-up play by Kelton Evans because clearly that was a broken play because of that high snap. He did a good job just getting his hand on it, knocking it down and pulling it in and gaining some positive yards. Ends up about with a gain of 2 or 3.
2nd and 7 for the Cougars. Evans handing it off to the running back, finding a little bit of an open room along that far side. Ethan Bayless on the carry. And he gets that's Schuhen who got that football. Number 20. And some good yardage on 2nd and 7. We'll have to measure that one to see if he got enough for first down.
Yeah, Schuhen with a nice carry there off the right side between the guard and the tackle, and I like the way he attacked that. Just burst right up through the hole and tried to finish that run off nice and strong. And they are, as you said, going to measure here. It is that close. And you'll notice some of those Cougar numbers are a little bit difficult to read. Some of them in white, much easier, but the others in black, certainly tough. And you could see that on the kickoff, on that return from Ethan Bayless. I mean, it was only until after he got up off the ground, really, that you could tell the number because of the rain and the contrast in the colors. So might have a little bit of a difficulty here tonight for some of the numbers of the Cougars that do have that green and black.
Close to a 7-yard run. Tanner Schuhen, and they're out calling that just short, so about half a yard to the first down, so about a 6.5-yard run for Schuhen, so a 3rd and very small one, it appears, coming up here for the Cougars in their first drive.
And you could fully expect that Tanner Schuhen likely getting the call here He is the thunder of the running backs, if you will. Lower center of gravity, pretty big body, and can certainly move the pile. So don't be surprised if it's Tanner Schuin that gets the carry here.
Up to their own 42-yard line, third and very short. Opening drive here for the Cougars. Varsity team looking for their first win of the 2015 campaign. And as predicted, they keep it on the ground. And were they able to get back to the line of scrimmage? And it looks like a first down is being signaled for the Cougars, so they were able to just get enough, get about a yard on the ground. And again, it was Tanner Schuin, as Mike predicted. He gets that one right up the gut, and that's just enough to move the chains, thankfully, for the Cougars.
And that one very close. I mean, for a second there, I think a group of us up here in the booth were wondering if that was actually going to be enough for a first down, but good job by the beasts up front to push the pile and Schuin to get that extra push as well.
Up to the 43-yard line. Second series for the Cougars. Another high snap, and they hand it off to the running back, who does not do a lot with the football. And Gagne gets the assignment that time around, perhaps out of necessity, as that was a very high snap. And Kelton Evans had to do everything he could in that tall frame to handle that cleanly.
Yeah, as you mentioned, high snap again, and that certainly makes it difficult. I mean, the snap is just so important to be on the spot, because it just throws off your rhythm completely if it's offline at all. And again, now you've seen it twice on this drive where the snap has caused a play to fail.
And a fumble on second and very long, and another tough play here offensively for the Cougars, as this football is going to come backwards once again for the second straight play.
Ball was on the ground, picked up by number 25.
And Bayless picked up that football off the turf.
Stopped by number 9.
And McClellan was there to take him down.
Third down and 12.
Dropping about 1 yard in that play. So third down and very long, about 13 to go here. And predictably, the Cougars will punt this one away.
And big factor here is the Cougars have the wind at their back, so you can expect a big kick here if he gets a good foot on it.
And a line drive comes down around the 45-yard line, picked up at the 40 by North Halton. And a good return along this near side. Down the sideline, it is going to be 6 points for North Halton. Tanner Codwaller.
Codwaller with the return. Looks to be about a 65-yard TD return.
And 6 points here for the North Halton Crimson Tide. Cadwallader, wide receiver and return man for the Crimson Tide, with an impressive run. That was about a 65-yard return for Paydirt.
And you know what? That all started with that line drive kick. Certainly not the kind of kick you're looking for, especially in these conditions. You got to give your coverage team time to get down the field. When you've got a line drive kick, it's going to get to the return man quickly, and it really doesn't give the coverage team a lot of time to get in their lanes, get down the field, and set up and try to corral the return man. So that's a tough way to start this one for the Cougars.
4 minutes into the opening quarter, and a quick lead for North Halton as they go for the extra point.
Number 1 kick.
Kick is up and through. 7-0 for the Crimson Tide over the Cougars in varsity football in the OFC. In the first go-around for the Crimson Tide, a return on the kickoff for a touchdown. So very quickly, up the Crimson Tide, 7-0. Tanner Cadwallader with a 65-yard punt return for the TD, and now the Cougars will get this football back again as the ball goes out of bounds. Flag flies.
Goes out of bounds. Flags down.
And the Cougars will start again on offense after the first drive sputtered. Rain continues to come down at a decent pace here. Wind still fairly brisk, appearing to come out of the northwest. An almost fall-like day here in Chatham-Kent for the end of June.
Yeah, it's certainly unseasonable weather that we're getting, and just hard to imagine the amount of rain that is falling here this weekend. Started overnight and it has barely stopped. If it has stopped, it's only been for minutes, and then it's resumed again. It's certainly a lot of rain here today.
Second drive here offensively for the Cougars. 1st and 10 of their own 40. And they have it on the ground, trying to find a little bit of room along that far side is Bayless.
Ethan Bayless on the
And
carry.
Ethan Bayless gets a few positive yards on 1st and 10.
I think down by 54. Same guys last time on the kicker.
Looks like he picked up about 4 yards, so about 2nd and 6 it appears.
Gain of 4 brings up 2nd down and 6.
He's pushing out there, O-line. You gotta pick up those blocks. Throw it down at the bottom.
2nd and 6, they go to the air for the first time along that far sideline. And it is hauled in close to the first down. Not sure if he got quite enough to move the chains, but about a 5-yard pickup as Kelton Evans found his man along that far sideline. I think that might have been Shreve that pulled that one in.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Mike. I think that was Clayton Shreve with the catch. And that was a nice tackle on that far side by the defensive back, not allowing Clayton Shreve to pick up much extra yardage after he made that snag. And Cougars going to go for it here on 3rd and 1.
Big play here, 6 minutes into the first quarter. Cougars down 7-0. They do keep it on the ground and busting it right up the middle. That will be enough for the first down. Good job there. Tanner Schuhen using that big body. And he finds a lane for the first down.
Nice job there by Schuhen. Looked like one of the defenders got into the backfield, but Schuhen showing some good feet there, eluding the defender and pushing that upfield and getting enough by about a half yard, I'd say, for that first down. So a fresh set of downs here for the Cougars, and certainly they'd love to move the football here after really on their first possession. North Halton takes that punt back for a touchdown and hasn't even had their offense on the field yet.
Right now, bottom screen, bottom.
Right at their own 50-yard line. Evans has the football, and he can't find anybody downfield, and had a whole bunch of pressure right in front of him from North Halton. And an incomplete pass out of duress. 2nd and 10 coming up for Evans and the Cougars offense.
Hard to tell. I'm going to guess he was maybe just throwing that away. Maybe the closest receiver, Ethan Bayless, but looked like the coverage was pretty good over there. And I think Kelton Evans just wanted to throw that one away. And now we've got a timeout being called by Chatham-Kent. And the entire offense going over to the sideline. You really can't understate the weather here today.
Just deplorable. Just awful.
I mean, the flag at the end of the field is waving, and I don't think it's going to stop at all for the rest of the night. Again, the gusts upwards of 70 kilometers an hour, and if you can see in the lights as this rain falls, it just is a steady stream of rain, and it just does not feel like it's going to let up at all.
As we mentioned before we hit the airwaves, that you probably see this field deteriorate pretty quickly as we're heading towards halftime after the first half. It probably will be fairly chewed up. 8:05 to go in the opening quarter. Cougars down 7-0, 2nd and 10. Offensively here for Chatham-Kent, so a big play as Evans has it, goes to the air, tries to find his man, and it falls incomplete, and that one was going to Greg Richards.
Pass intended for number 86, Greg Richards. There is a flag down.
2nd and 10 was incomplete, so a 3rd down coming up, but there is some laundry on the field here. We'll see what happens with this call.
The Cougars, the safety on this side here, on the near side of the field, the Cougars actually had 2 receivers out there, but only 1 defender. And Kelton Evans decided to throw the ball the other side of the field. Now, it worked out for them for sure, but maybe a bit of a missed opportunity, some broken coverage there from North Halton. We'll see if they get that corrected, but Cougars had 2 receivers on this side, just 1 defender there for the Crimson Tide.
The pass interference call against North Halton. Big gift there for the Cougars, so a fresh set of downs at the 50-yard line, North Halton, as they go back to the ground along the near side, up to the 45 and just past the 40. I mean, actually, a huge pile gets him close to the 40-yard line. Good job on the ground there for the Cougars.
61 on the tackle.
Number 20, Tanner Schuin on
And
the carry,
Schuin
moves the pile.
with the assignment on the ground there, but that last push probably got him an extra 3, maybe 4 yards. 8, it looks like, total. But he got some help for sure at the end.
You got to love that when you've got that scrum at the end and you get your offensive lineman driving in there and pushing the pile forward. That makes a coach feel good. Everybody working together to get those extra yards.
Once again, here's Schuin with the call on 2nd and 2. He's got plenty of yards to move the chains this time around along that far side as he finds a C and gets to around the 35-yard line, maybe a little bit past. And now the run game here for the Cougars seems to be pretty much in sync as they try to get back in this game. They're down by 7.
This is a good sign for the Cougars. Look like they're finally, as you mentioned, in sync, starting to get into a rhythm. So good sign for this offense. They've certainly had their struggles putting points on the board this year, and any growth, a sign like this that we're seeing is something to build on.
As they go to the air, this is a completion from Evans, and that's Clayton Shreve who brought that one in. It's going to be a short pickup. I think he only got about 1 just past the line of scrimmage, so 2nd and long coming up here.
Yeah, they adjusted now.
A completion, but a short one nonetheless.
20-yard gain brings up 2nd down, 9.
Big push out there, offense. Let's go.
Timeout.
Their timeout being called here.
By the Cougars.
Chatham-Kent once again called timeout.
2nd timeout so far this first quarter. Played almost 10 minutes into this football game, 7-0, an early score on a punt return. 65 yards, Tanner Codwell-Ladder. It's the only time that North Halton has touched the football in this first quarter, so a lot of possession time here for the Cougars, but still being shut out. But they've had a few good plays, they just haven't been able to put a lot together, and hopefully they can convert this 2nd and 9. This is a very important play.
Yeah, no doubt it is. Keep that drive alive, and again, that strong wind at their back. You can maybe extend the range for a field goal attempt here tonight if you've got the wind at your back. But you know, big plays might be hard to come by in this weather. You're probably not going to see too many balls in the air because obviously the ball is going to be wet and slick, and also the wind is just so strong out there. Those are all certainly factors that are going to play into the fact that you probably won't see a lot of passing in this football game, which might work to the Cougars' favor. Not that they haven't thrown the ball well, but they do have probably a stronger running game.
Off the timeout, 2nd down and 9 to go for the Cougars, down 7-0. Evans will look to go to the air as he scrambles to his left, goes to the air and just over top of the intended receiver.
25.
And that was intended for Ethan Bayless, but about a foot over his head as he was diving, couldn't come up with it. So a gamble on 2nd and 9 doesn't work for the Cougars, and now 3rd and long coming up.
And I would fully expect the Cougars to go for it here based on the field position. Oh, actually, look at this though. Looks like the kicking team coming in here.
So with the wind at their back, they're hoping to get a few extra yards, I guess, on this kick. But with the wind the way it is, you just never know how that ball's going to react. And with the rain still coming down pretty good, we'll see how it works. And they're actually going to punt this one. Not a field goal, but they're going to punt it deep into North Halton territory and evading about 2 tackles before being hauled down around the 25-yard line. That was returned by
Then they got the field position at 30.
number 16 for North Halton. Pardon me, that was Caldwell-Latter, number 1, who actually returned the last one for the major score. Not nearly as successful that time around. And about the 23-yard line, that's going to be your starting position for North Halton, and this will be their first offensive series in this entire game, 10 minutes in.
As you mentioned, possession time quite high here for the Cougars, but unfortunately not resulting in points, although that was a nice drive there from Chatham-Kent. Good tackle there by Mackenzie Bennett on special teams. Excuse me, that was not Mackenzie Bennett. I don't have a number for 76 on here. I believe it was Ricky O'Rourke actually on that tackle.
Get a whistle from a timeout. This is the 3rd timeout taken in this first quarter. The first one for North Halton, as they will talk it over. Up 7-0 on a 65-yard punt return from Tanner Caldwell-Latter. Cougars have had some good plays offensively in this opening frame, but just haven't been able to put it together to get any points on the board, as Mike mentioned. And now the defense getting their first go at it. Coming off the timeout, North Halton. Heading it off to the quarterback, number 21, that is Alcy Akwasi, with the carry and a short gain right up the middle.
Yeah, 21 was a carry.
Number 21 on the carry.
They run a little counter play there. Fake the handoff to the up man, going one way, and then to the deep back, heading the other way. Good job by the Cougars, though, collapsing that far side, and very short gain on first down.
Pickup of 2, so that sets up 2nd and 8.
Yeah, number 11's quarterback. Did you ask me that? Yeah, he's quarterback.
Under 4 to play in the first quarter. And now some early movement before the snap, and about 3, maybe 4 flags come flying out. And we'll see who moved early. The Cougars are saying it's North Halton, and it is actually North Halton as they move backwards.
Yeah, it looked like it was the tackle on the near side. Just came out of his stance a little bit too quickly and actually forced the guard next to him to pop up as well. So again, we talked about the time of possession for the Cougars offense. Well, that means the Cougars defense is pretty fresh. This is the first time that they've seen the field, so I would imagine they're probably pretty happy to finally be out there.
Get some work in finally. 2nd and 13.
No, I just changed my lens in case I have to use those.
Let's go out there, Cougar D!
Connor Heggie dropping back to pass, trying to find his man along the near side, and that falls incomplete as Chris Buckley was the intended receiver. And underthrown, hits the turf, and 3rd and 13 coming up here for North Halton.
Well, and you mentioned the pass from Connor Heggie being underthrown. He's throwing into that wind that we've talked about that's gusting upwards of 70 kilometers an hour. So you can just imagine how hard it is going to be for the quarterbacks to judge what kind of a throw they have to make to get the ball to the receiver, whether the wind is at their back or they're throwing into the wind. Obviously, a lot easier throwing with the wind at your back, but obviously that time the ball coming up well short of the intended receiver and forces North Halton to kick this one away.
Number 1, he's done everything.
And it is a pretty healthy kick along that far side, coming down around midfield, and picked up by Bayless into North Halton territory down that far sideline, still on his feet, and finally whistled down well inside the 40-yard line. So some fantastic field position here for the Cougars, about a 20-plus yard return on that punt. So with 3 minutes to go in the opening quarter, this will give the Chatham-Kent Cougars offense a little extra push here.
Yeah, and great field position, as you mentioned, and certainly the Cougars, one of the things they have to learn to do as an offense is take advantage of the opportunities that present themselves. This is where you see the good teams where they take these opportunities and they'll take advantage. They'll put some points on the board. It's exactly what the Cougars have to do here, trailing 7-0 with the wind at their back at this point.
The 32-yard line of North Halton as they keep it on the ground up the middle on 1st and 10 and pushing forward
When you send the motion
to
there,
about the 30-yard line, so
give an emotion to
pickup of maybe 3 as it gets to around the 29. So 2nd and 7 coming up here.
Ryan Williams, number 55 on the
Under
stop.
2.5 to play in the opening quarter. 7-0 for North Halton over the Cougars.
Not a bad run there from Gabe Gagne on 1st down. Offensive line doing a pretty good job so far here in this first quarter with 2:10 to go and counting.
2nd and 7. Here's Evans back to pass along that far side and a jump ball over top of the intended receiver, and that was pegged for Ethan Bayless, and about a foot, maybe 2 feet over top of his head. So overthrown and a 3rd down now, 3rd and 7, still from the 29-yard line of the Crimson Tide.
Brings up 3rd down.
And I wondered what maybe the Cougars would do because they had similar field position on this last drive and they punted it away. However, this time it looks like they're going to attempt a field. It looks like they're going to attempt a field goal here.
Graham back to kick it for the Cougars. Snap is down, kick is up, and a line drive goes just under the crossbar.
36-yard
And
field goal attempt is wide.
There is a flag down.
We do have a flag on the close side of the field here. 3rd down and 2.
So this changes the complexion of what they might do here now, up to the 24-yard line. Now you only have 2 to move the chains.
Yeah, and it looks like Kellen Evans is back in the game. So you go from attempting a field goal and getting a single point. Now you've got a chance to get a fresh set of downs. So Cougars going to try to take advantage of that penalty and push this one ahead that extra 2 yards.
Minute 15 to go in the opening quarter. They keep it on the ground and trying to rumble towards that 1st down is Bayless. Tanner Schuhen, number 20.
the receiver's man down.
And let's see if he got enough for and he did. Yes, the call is 1st down. So good job by Tanner Schuhen,
That run is good enough for a 1st down.
who uses that big body to get the 3 yards. He just got a little bit more than he needed there. So up to the 21-yard line. And under a minute to go in the opening quarter. 7-0 the Cougars trail. But that was a big play there. Big penalty against North Halton.
Yeah, nice job by Schuhen, too. He made the first man miss with a nice little stiff arm and just got enough for the fresh set of downs.
Now on 1st and 10, they keep it on the ground. And Gagne gets the assignment there. Minimal pickup on 1st and 10. Got a good 3, actually. Maybe, 3 is what they're calling. So 2nd and 7.
Gain of 3 brings up
And
2nd down and 7.
Appears, no, actually now they've got an injury on the field. One of the Crimson Tide of North Halton down after that last play.
Keep pushing out there, Cougars! Let's go, boys!
This will be the final play of the first quarter. 2nd and about 6 to go here for Chatham-Kent. Once again, they keep it on the ground. And it is Tanner Schuhen
On the carry.
54 on this down.
getting a minimal pickup there on 2nd and 6. So a 3rd down is coming up here to begin the second quarter for the Cougars.
Boy, a nice job there by big number 90 for North Halton, Luke McClellan. Shewan was following his lead blocker there and then came off of him, looked to cut it inside, and big number 90 was waiting for him and wrapped him right up in the hole and drove him straight to the ground. Great job by McClellan, and tough position here for the Cougars. It's going to make it a decision time for sure for the offensive coordinator and head coach, and we'll see if they decide to go for it. Looks like they're going to come out with the kicking team and attempt field goal here.
So a 2-yard pickup on that last play, the 16-yard line, and the Cougars down 7-0.
Begin the second quarter. It's 3rd down and 4 for Chatham-Kent at the North Halton 16-yard line.
Josh Graham will kick it. Trying to get the Cougars their first points of this football game to begin the second quarter. And the kick is up. And it is through.
Josh Graham's kick is good.
But there is a flag down, so we'll see what happens here. But a nice job by Graham to get it through the uprights.
Wow. Yeah, major foul there against North Halton. So for the Cougars, that's a fresh set of downs. That's a 15-yard penalty and bring back the offense.
They've had a few gifts with penalties so far this football game, and none larger than that one there.
Although the field goal was good, which was nice to see, and
It was a good kick.
yeah, it was a good kick, and that's certainly that's going to help in building the confidence as well. It was a nice snap, good hold, and a nice kick. But hey, you'd love to get 7 points, right?
You'll take the first and goal from the 1. 30 seconds into the second quarter, they try to punch it in on the ground, and they do. Touchdown, Cougars! A rushing touchdown, aided by that major foul against North Halton. And Shewan with the touchdown. The Cougars now within 1, trying to tie it up.
Nice job there. That offensive line getting a good push again. So far this game, they've been very strong up front, and the running backs have been the beneficiaries. That time, Shewan just finishing it off, pushing the pile forward, and big number 20 gets the Cougars on the board. They'll look to add the extra point here and tie this one up.
Number 11.
Josh Graham trying to tie it up with the extra point. A 7-7 football game, 34 seconds into the second quarter here at the Chatham-Kent Community Athletic Complex on this rainy, windy Saturday night. Mike Renier along with Mike James. Jeff Brooks on the camera. Warm and dry tonight. We found a spot inside for Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff Brooks, he's toughed it out a couple times this season already. That was one of the, actually probably the first question I had when I got up to the booth tonight. Where was Jeff going to position himself? No T-towel, if you remember the one game. He had the T-towel on the camera.
He said nuts to that. I'm moving in. I'm inside tonight.
No dishes tonight. He's inside.
Shewan with a 1-yard run, major score, tying this game up 7-7, just beginning the second quarter, 34 seconds in. And now they'll kick it away to North Halton.
Big push, big push. Up here.
Down that far side, past the 45, close to the 50-yard line on their side of midfield. Looks like the ball comes up to about the 48 at North Halton. And that's where the Crimson Tide will begin this drive. Hot off the heels of that touchdown run by the Cougars.
Well, the Crimson Tide going to have pretty much an entire quarter here with the wind at their back. So we'll see how much this might change their game plan. Although we didn't see a lot of their offense in that first quarter, did we? With all the time of possession that the Cougars had and the punt return for a touchdown that the Crimson Tide had. That's a false start.
And early movement
Flag down.
Looks like this will push this one back 5 yards against
34 on
North Halton. As the rain continues to come down and the wind driving it sideways.
5 yards.
Procedure call goes against North Halton. Back them up 5 yards.
So 1st and 15 now on that procedure call.
Good job out there, Cougars. Keep pushing.
Keeping it on the ground with 1st and 15. Nice little move to evade a couple of tackles. Now wrapped up before midfield. Getting a gain of about 8 on that one. Bringing up a second at about 7.
Jacob Lindley, number 3 on the stop.
And that was Akwasi again on the ground.
Akwasi, you can see he's got some shiftiness to him, doesn't he? He makes the first would-be tackler miss, and he's got a nice little burst too. Nice pickup there after that penalty. Makes it a manageable second down.
Actually close to a 10-yard run there on 1st and 15. So 2nd and 5 along that far side. A flag is down, and the running back comes down before
There is a flag down.
the line of scrimmage. You'll see what the flag is in a moment.
Yeah, that was Jalen Lewis-Banton with the carry, but as you mentioned with the flag, now that was going to be short of the first down, and
Procedure call goes against
yeah,
North
they're
Halton.
marching them back. A procedure call here. Oh, holding, sorry. Holding call, so 10-yard penalty. They were going to be about a yard short of the first down.
Makes it 2nd down and 15.
So that 10-yard run now negated.
Keep pushing out there, Green.
Just over 2 minutes into the second quarter. 7-7 tie. 2nd and 15 now for North Halton. As they go to the air, little sideways pass caught from number 20, and he's tripped up. Not a lot that Stephen Maynard could have done with that one after the catch as he gets to about the 50-yard line.
Nice
Gain of
job.
about 6. Sorry, Michael.
Sorry there, Mike. Nice job by Ricky O'Rourke to come back and make that tackle.
Brings up a 3rd down and a long 8.
He was up in the area of the line of scrimmage, and O'Rourke spins around and comes back to make the tackle. Good job there. Nice job of defense, and North Halton going to have to kick this one away. Again, North Halton with the wind at their back, and I am telling you, you can't underplay how gusty it is and how much this can affect the distance on a kick. This, I don't have any knowledge of the kicker, so I don't know how strong his leg is, but if he has anywhere near a decent leg and can get some hang time, this can be huge.
The kick is up, and that is a great kick. As it comes down inside the 20 and very deep into Cougar territory. So that was an outstanding kick from North Halton. And now picked up by Bayless, trying to find some room along that far side. And all things considered, not a bad return, but
Bayless on the return.
still the Cougars will be backed up a fair bit in their own zone for this next offensive set of plays. But a strong kick there.
On the stuff.
And really, as a kick returner, you're taught to be further back than closer because it's always easier to run up under a ball than to be retreating to catch it. So Ethan Bayless likely going to take a couple steps further back next time. And the other thing that the wind does is it makes it tougher to read that football in the air. So obviously the velocity is changing a little bit, the distance is changing, it makes it difficult, and then you add the rain in. It just it's not an easy play to make.
Back to around their own 20-yard line to begin this drive, and they keep it on the ground. And a little gain, maybe about 1 on the ground. Actually,
Looked like that was
3 yards, so 2nd and 7 coming up here.
yeah, Jacob Broad with the carry that time.
Broad on the carry, gain of 3. Brings up 2nd down and 7.
I like what the Cougars have done here in this game. A little more of a three-headed monster now in the backfield. We've seen Tanner Schuin, Jacob Broad, and Gabe Gagne, all 3 of them touching the rock here so far in the first half.
2nd and 7, they go to the air, and off the fingertips of the intended receiver, Bourbonnais, I believe.
Bourbonnais.
Looked like he was poised to bring that one down, but it just bobbled as he got to his hands and falls incomplete. So 3rd and 7 now is the situation for Chatham-Kent.
And it looked like that ball might have even been tipped at the line of scrimmage on its way to Bourbonnais. And still had a chance to make the grab, as you mentioned, and it hit his hands. But it was wobbling, obviously, from being tipped at the line of scrimmage. And then you add in the fact that it's a wet ball. It certainly adds to the level of difficulty.
So the Crimson Tide pinned the Cougars deep there, and Chatham-Kent unable to do much with that football on that drive. Low kick now for the punt, and it gets past the 45-yard line, but still in Cougars territory. When you're that far back into your own territory, not much you could do to kick it out of your own zone, but good field position here for North Halton, taking over in a 7-7 tie.
And again, that's the result of that booming kick from North Halton. Special teams, again, there's the point where special teams are so important. They come away with that booming kick North Halton does. The Cougars get pinned deep in their own end, and they're forced to punt it away into an extremely strong wind, resulting in some great field position here for the Crimson Tide. So good job on the special teams for the Crimson Tide earlier on, and it pays off here with some great field position.
Out there, defense. Let's go, boys.
The Cougars 44, 5 minutes into the second quarter. And now quarterback, a little bit of indecision and confusion. Nice job by the Cougars D to jump on him, well, literally, as a big quarterback sack will set this football back a fair bit. A huge sack. And that's close to a 10-yard drop there for North Halton.
Yeah, Josh Kita gets the credit for that sack, but I think the assist should go to a wet ball. It looked like Hagee went to throw it, and the ball just slipped in his hands, and he couldn't get enough on it to get it out to the receiver. Had to double clutch, and then just took too long and didn't have any time to do anything with it.
Looks like I overstated a little bit. 6-yard sack, but still 2nd and 16. A big task here for the Crimson Tide. Back to pass it once again over the middle and some room, and almost intercepted by the Cougars. And was it intercepted?
Wow, what a
It
catch.
was. Whoa, Lindley on the interception. He bobbled it heading to the ground, but somehow he was able to control it, keep it off the ground, and as he was back on the turf, he was able to grasp it for the interception. So great athleticism there by Lindley, and an INT.
Boy, oh boy, on the ground, and is able to stick his hand out and keep it alive and then corral it. Fantastic play, as you mentioned, by Lindley, and gives the Cougars the football.
Again, where they started their other drive at the 20, so still pinned fairly deep, but they do get the football back and almost intercepted going the other way that time around. Was Kelton Evans, as Clayton Shreve was the intended receiver, but the D for North Halton, pretty tenacious that time around.
And that ball, again, with that wind coming in, it slows that velocity down and gives the defensive back those few extra milliseconds that you don't usually get, and that's usually that can be enough to get you there in time to meet the football as it gets to the receiver. And you saw that there, both of them getting there at about the same time, and luckily falls incomplete.
2nd and 10. Again, they go to the air, and it's hauled in, a completion past the 40-yard line to about the 44.
Evans' pass is complete.
And a nice job there, Ethan Bayless, to stay with that football. He hauls it in, so nice pass play. Evans to Bayless, the 44-yard line.
Boy, oh boy. Ethan Bayless, I think he maybe got a face full of mud at the end of that one, too. Pretty soon these guys are going to have to put goggles on.
Don't rule it out.
Keep working O-line.
Football polo later on tonight.
This keeps up. It's still coming down in buckets here this Saturday night as they keep it on the ground. Nice run on 1st and 10 for the Cougars, close to the 50-yard line.
22 on the snap, 20 on the carry.
And Schuen. Gets close to 6 on the ground, so 2nd and 4.
Gain of 6 on the play brings up 2nd down 4.
There were a bunch of guys on that tackle.
Good job up there, O-line!
And a little miscommunication there off the snap, it appears. On 2nd and 4, they only get about a yard on the ground. Gagne with the carry. I think maybe footing might have been the issue there.
And that play looked a little bit slow to develop as well, and I think that might have been a contributing factor to basically no gain, and that's a shame too, because the Cougars had that nice big play to get them out of their own end. Now forced to punt this one, and again, the way this wind has been blowing, it's certainly a factor here on this punt.
As the wind continues to gust, and not in favor for the Cougars here, as they are right into it. And a line drive kick, and a bouncing football going back to close to the 35-yard line, picked up by North Halton, and evading a bunch of tackles. Nice job there by Knowles, and Knowles does lose the football as he heads to the ground.
Ball is out.
But it looks like it's North Halton football as his teammates able to hop on that ball, but a good job for Akeem Knowles as he was able to run past a couple of would-be tacklers.
You know what? That was a great job by Josh Graham, the kicker. I mean, that ball, I don't think it went any higher than 10 feet off the ground, but just enough to get it high enough that none of the linemen could touch it, and keep it low enough that the wind was going to be a minimal factor in the kick, and really a great result and great coverage, and they nearly get the ball back. So great job there on special teams.
Under 6 to play in the first half in a 7-7 football game. Crimson Tide have it back once again. They go to the ground, well behind the line of scrimmage. And down he goes. Stephen Maynard gets the call. And he was way back behind the line of scrimmage, so a big loss on the ground for North Halton.
Yeah, it looked like the Cougars came with a blitz as well. Josh Graham coming and read that play, was chasing from behind, and just had nowhere to go. Great job by the Cougars defense. Nice call there, and boy, oh boy, this is a nice flip in field position for the Cougars.
8-yard loss on the ground, and once again,
Flag on the play.
somebody jumps early.
Boy, that was about 5 yards offside, I'd say, before the whistles actually blew.
That was easy to call.
I think the receiver was already behind the linebackers before they threw the flags and blew the whistles on that one. I actually think the referees were a little bit in shock.
Did that happen?
Offside call does go against North Halton. Back up to 5 yards.
2nd and 23 now.
Brings up 2nd down 23.
Five minutes even to go in the first half. Obvious passing play. And a little short pass along that far side. Some big yards after the catch. Not enough for the first down, but pretty impressive, all things considered, on 2nd and 23.
Pass complete to number 21.
And Akwasi again, the receiver.
What'd you see?
Standing parallel.
Looks like it was
I
about a
can't tell.
12-yard
I can't
pickup.
Read the numbers in the front.
You can't read the front numbers. No, I think it was either 16 or 56.
Job up there, defense! I'm looking right at it.
Oh, it looks like North Halton's going.
16 or 56.
Looks like they're gonna go for it here.
3rd and 11 in a tie game. 7-7. And they are going for it, so a big gamble here for North Halton, trying to air it out here. 3rd and 11. And hauled in at midfield.
Pass complete to number 8.
And Brandon Bolzen gets that pass from Connor Hagee. And that gamble pays off. A huge pickup there for North Halton. In what was a 2nd and 23. They dug out of it.
Wow, that's a tough one to swallow there for the Cougars D. Certainly a fantastic opportunity missed, but they got to put it behind them for sure and try and come up with a stop here.
First and 10. Quarterback Heggie rolling off to the far side, keeping it himself, and about the 45-yard line. He almost gets first down yardage himself. And he does move the chains on his own 2 feet, so 10-yard, maybe even 11-yard pickup from Heggie, the quarterback. And what seemed to be very much in peril, this drive now for North Halton is humming along pretty good up to the Cougars' 43-yard line now. At the 3-minute warning.
Ball is spotted at the Chatham-Kent 43-yard line, first down. We're now at the 3-minute warning.
Big push out there, D, let's go!
Heggie back to pass once again. And in a big puddle, the ball falls incomplete. A big puddle around the 30-yard line of Chatham-Kent. And good job by Lindley defensively to knock that football away. So that was a big play defensively for Chatham-Kent.
Yeah, Jacob Lindley, again, as you said, makes a nice play on the ball just as the receiver gets there, breaks that one up, and then gets up weighing about 10 pounds more because of the puddle that they fall in. Soaking wet now. But again, to this point, field still from this vantage point anyway, yeah, we've got a couple of wet spots that you can see that we do have some puddling, but for the most part, looks like it's held up pretty well. Not a lot of slipping and sliding.
On 2nd and 10 now for North Halton. Quarterback well back to midfield. Heggie's still on his feet, couple of missed tackles. And he does get that football away, an incomplete pass. But could have been disastrous. That could have been a 10-yard plus sack against Heggie, but he uses his footwork to dance out of trouble.
Unbelievable. At least 3 Cougars defensive linemen had him in their grasp and lost him. And certainly if you're wet, that's one advantage. It's tougher to grab onto you and make the tackle, and Heggie escapes, and yeah, it falls incomplete, but guess what? They get to go back to the original line of scrimmage.
So 3rd and 10 from the 43-yard line of the Cougars, and I think another timeout being called here against North Halton.
And this looks like this is the first timeout that we've seen from North Halton in this first half, and this is a big play, no doubt. Good situation to call a timeout, make sure everybody's on the same page. You've got a play called that everybody's pretty comfortable with and has a high success rate. 2:33 to go here in the first half. Good battle to this point. You've got a tie game, 7-all, but if you're North Halton, you've got this strong wind at your back, so it's not going to limit you all that much on what kind of play you're going to run, whether it be a run or a pass. And you'd love to put some more points on the board and take the lead potentially heading into halftime. On the flip side, obviously for the Cougars, a big opportunity here to stop a drive from North Halton that's been pretty successful. As you mentioned earlier, they get out of a 2nd and 23 jam and get a first down and a new set of downs. So be a nice chance at redemption here for that Cougars D.
You know what? You can use my jacket. You can use my jacket for the time being.
So on 3rd and 10, and the quarterback comes down to the 50-yard line.
Connor Heggie sacked on the play.
And Heggie goes down, turnover on down, so a nice gift there for the Cougars, and I don't think Heggie's footing was where it should be, but there's that wet turf again coming into play, and he wasn't able to plant properly, slipping, and an easy sack for the Cougars D, and now they take over. Still lots of time to go, 2:29 in the opening half, and a 7-7 tie, and some pretty good field position here.
Looked like Josh Kidda, one of the ones that broke through there. He already had a sack in this game, so maybe gets credit for a half a sack there. Good job there by that defense, and they do redeem themselves.
Oh, don't worry about this. Don't worry about me. Don't worry about whoever was asking for the foul. I don't need it. Don't get your coat wet. You'll freeze.
And a flag right off of the snap. And Evans, a little jump ball almost intercepted. And that one was intended for Clayton Shreve, but there is a penalty flag or two down on the field. And that came out immediately. McClellan, offside.
Offside penalty against North Halton, moves the ball 5 yards.
5
in midfield.
Yard penalty, 1st and 5 from midfield here.
Heard a bit of that chat. It sounded like he was lined up offside. He didn't jump, but he was actually lined up in his stance offside. So that's why it wasn't exactly obvious why the flag flew right off the bat.
So a more manageable 1st and 5 now as they keep it on the ground, right up the middle. And the pile pushes the football back maybe 2 yards. Schuin maybe gets a couple. So that'll set up 2nd and a long 3.
One yard gain brings up 2nd down and 4.
Right on the 55 yard.
Keep pushing out there, O-line. Let's go.
Under 2 to play until halftime. Again on 2nd and 4. They keep it on the ground. A little bit of room to move along the near side. That final push for 1st down didn't quite get what he needed. And this will bring up 3rd and about 1. Broad on that carry gets close to 3 yards. And they're saying now that he was 2 yards shy. So decision time here for the Cougars. 3rd and 2 from the 52-yard line into North Halton territory.
Well, certainly a couple factors going into this one. You've got a strong wind in your face, so your kick is going to be pretty limited. And you've got 2 yards at midfield. Cougars going to go for it here.
3rd and 2 on the ground, trying to get that final push, and a nice little burst there by Schuin at the end. He gets about 5 and well into North Halton territory, and the chains will move. 1st down, Cougars.
And unfortunately, we've got a man down. Wait a second. He's getting up now. Okay. Yeah, that was a nice push up front by that offensive line, and then Schuin just comes in and goes right over top of it and then keeps those feet moving and pushes out a couple extra yards at the end. Beautiful way to finish off a run. You love to see that. Keep those feet pumping and pick up that extra yard or two as you're being taken down. And that's exactly what Schuin can do at that size and stature.
Up to the 47, and again, early movement. And this is going to be, I think, against the Cougars right off the snap.
Boy, earlier North Halton had an obvious offside. That one pretty easy to call there against the Cougars. Well offside there. Going to march this one back.
Chad's first penalty this game, actually.
Offside penalty against Chatham-Kent will back him up 5 yards, make it 1st down and 15 from North Halton 52.
Clean it up, O-line. Let's go.
First and 15, down the field it comes, and a jump ball again. That falls incomplete around the 37-yard line or so. So 2nd and 15 coming up now for the Cougars. Under a minute to play, 59 seconds to go in the 2nd quarter.
Yeah, that time, that ball intended for Ethan Bayless, and he just turns into a defensive back there, actually knocking that one out of the hands of one of the defenders, making sure that it doesn't turn into an interception.
2nd and 15. Here's Evans scrambling to his left, going downfield. And it falls incomplete once again. So the offensive drive stalling here for the Cougars. 52 seconds left to go in the second quarter.
Interesting, the Cougars select to pass there on the last 2 downs, and the only reason I mention that is because obviously with 52.4 seconds to go and you're kicking into the strong wind, you want to limit the amount of time that North Halton has to play with the football on offense. You run the football, it takes a little more time off the clock. Obviously, when you throw an incomplete pass, it stops the clock. So North Halton's going to have plenty of time here to get some plays off on offense.
Very low snap, and took a couple of seconds to dig it out of the turf. The kick is up, though, around the 30-yard line. Flag comes out right away. No yards appears to be the call on that flag.
Forced out of bounds. There is a flag down.
And as you mentioned, Michael, 42 seconds. That's still quite a bit of time left to work with here before halftime for North Halton to break the tie.
And we know they've got a couple explosive players out there, so certainly not going to be limited in putting the ball in the air with that strong wind at their back. Don't be surprised you see them take a couple shots here.
36-yard line.
Once it bounces on the ground, if they catch it in the air, it's 15.
Stay hungry out there, D! Pass!
And a nice quarterback sack there for the Cougars. Quarterback was well back. And Connor Heggie with his second fairly significant sack of this football game.
Ricky O'Rourke on the sack.
Nice job by the Cougars D.
Yeah, nice job there by Ricky O'Rourke to not only chase Hagee down, but make sure he's able to make that tackle one-on-one and not allow Hagee to slip away. We've seen Hagee's got some athleticism back there and has eluded some would-be tacklers. Had a big gainer earlier in this one, but not that time. O'Rourke drags him down.
11-yard sack, 2nd and 21. Time ticking down, 16 seconds to go in the second quarter. Hagee elects to hand it off to the running back. Some room to move along that far side. And they will get close to first down yardage on that impressive run there, but only 4.2 seconds left to go in the second quarter.
So likely wouldn't be surprised, some trickery here. Maybe you just air one out with that strong wind at your back.
And that's the end. I didn't quite see what happened there. It looked like they might have spiked the ball. I couldn't actually quite see what happened in that play there. But it is now halftime, 3rd and 8 from the result of that run. But it's a 7-7 tie between the Chatham-Kent Cougars and the North Halton Crimson Tide. Varsity football in the Ontario Football Conference, the OFC, in, sloppy conditions would be putting it mildly. But they both now going to their dressing rooms to get warmer and drier.
It was well played first half, though. Moved along pretty well. Not a lot of penalties. Pretty clean game, and one big play really for North Halton, and that was that punt return for a touchdown, about a 65-yard return by Cadwallader, and that's all that North Halton needed to put some points on the board. That's all they get. And on the flip side, the Cougars, that 1-yard rushing touchdown from Schuin, and that's your scoring in the first half. Obviously, the elements playing a factor. Actually, we've seen the ball in the air a little bit more than I would have expected in these conditions, which is good. I mean, keeps it a little more entertaining. It's just not just a ground game. So pretty good football from both sides. It should be an entertaining second half.
Halftime here at the Athletic Complex in Chatham-Kent. The Cougars 7 and the Crimson Tide 7. Back with second half action coming up with Cougars football. TV Kojiko. second half action back to go here at the Chatham-Kent Community Athletic Complex. Mike Renier along with Mike James and the Cougars and North Halton Crimson Tide all tied up at 7. And it will be North Halton receiving the football to begin the third quarter. A nice kick there for the Cougars. And it will be the Crimson Tide who will have the football, but fairly deep, quite deep, in their own territory.
Great coverage there from the Cougars. Looked like Jacob Broad there to lead the group of tacklers, and
Number 24, Jacob Brown.
fantastic job there by the Chatham-Kent coverage team getting down and making that tackle deep in their own end. Looks like this is going to be the deepest that North Halton has had to start with the football in this game.
Backed up to their 10-yard line. Rain still blowing sideways here as this big system comes through. 1st and 10, deep in their own territory, and quarterback keeps it and brought down for a sack. So another sack for Connor Heggie, as he's been brought down at least 3 times the last half a quarter, I think.
And Josh Kidda back there again. He's got 2 solo sacks now in this game, and then I think I credited him with a half a sack earlier on as well, because it was him and a couple of other Cougars that were in on that sack. So Josh Kidda having an outstanding game, big number 70, the defensive lineman.
So backed up to their own 5. It's 2nd and 15 now for North Halton. Heggie back to pass around his own goal line, and a low throw, I believe, hauled in by the receiver. So some positive yards on 2nd and 15, but still about 8 yards, 7 or 8 yards shy of the first down.
And this is where, again, special teams can be so huge, because North Halton kicking into this extremely strong wind, but they really don't have much of a choice here. It's either kick into the wind or take a safety, and I don't think that's something they want to do here. So they're going to kick it, not going to go for it, and just hope they get a decent kick away.
Kick is high in the air. Comes down around the 40-yard line. And a little bit of a return here, Penny, for the Cougars, trying to turn another corner along that far sideline. And finally, a big hit. Throws him into his own bench. But great position, or inside the 30, it appears.
Great wheels from Eric Penny there on catching that ball cleanly and then getting to the edge, getting away from a couple of shoestring tackles and picking up some positive yards. Nice job from Penny there, getting up to top speed in just a couple strides. And as you mentioned, Mike, fantastic field position here for the Cougars to start on their first possession of the second half.
Made it up to the 25-yard line of North Halton. Trying to break this 7-7 tie that we've been in for quite some time. As they hand it off to the running back once again, but not a lot that Schuhen could have done. But nice effort, though, for Schuhen to get a little bit on that one, because right when he got handed the football by the quarterback, the defense was swarming in on him.
Yeah, you're right there, Mike. Schuhen able to slip a couple of tackles. He's got such a low center of gravity. He's able to do that. And they're going to say no gain, and you know what? As you mentioned, he could have easily been dropped for about a 2-3 yard loss there, but credit to Schuhen to pick up some positive yards.
Key play here on 2nd and 10. They're at the opposing 25-yard line. Here's Evans going to the air, and a diving attempt, and it hits the turf. Nice attempt by Shreve to try and hold that one in. But it goes in and out of his hands, and 3rd and 10 from the 25 now.
Boy, that's a shame, too. That's a nice throw from Kelton Evans. Maybe just a little bit low, but you know what? He gave his receiver a chance to catch that one. Clayton Shreve Certainly would have loved to have hauled that one in, and the Cougars forced to go with the field goal attempt here. Again, with that strong wind at their back.
Number 11 's kicking.
Strong kick. It's got the distance. It is wide. And the Cougars will give it up to the North Halton team and run out by the Crimson Tide, the 45-yard line. And some good wheels there from Akeem Knowles,
Number 11.
who brings it very close to midfield. So wide on the attempt for the field goal, and then Knowles turns it right around to get some outstanding field position.
Well, boy, oh boy, that's some great play there from the Crimson Tide special teams. Unfortunately, that kick from Josh Graham sails just wide, but it's not deep enough to go through the back of the end zone. And then a great return, and it's actually Josh Graham who's forced to make a touchdown-saving tackle at the 40.
Was quarterbacking.
Good job by the Cougars D there on 1st and 10.
Number 18, Owen Avon hands the ball off.
Quarterback change for the Crimson Tide was Connor Heggie for the longest time. Now it's 18 Owen Pavin under center. We'll see if that's temporary or otherwise.
Brings up 2nd down and 9.
Good work out there, Cougars. Keep it
Looks
up.
like that might have been Alex Valahora with a fantastic hit right in the hole and driving the running back backwards for a little gain.
Only a 1-yard pickup on 1st and 10, so 2nd and 9 now for the Crimson Tide. Once again up the middle it comes, and out of the fingertips of the receiver for North Halton. Another incomplete pass there from Pavin, so 3rd and 9 as Buckley was unable to haul it in.
And you know what? Buckley gave himself a chance to catch that ball. Got the one hand out to kind of corral it, but a nice job by Ricky O'Rourke, big number 56, the linebacker, to hit him immediately as he touched that football, so he didn't give him a second chance to make a nice play on that football. O'Rourke drives him to the ground and forces this 3rd down.
5 minutes into the 3rd quarter, still a 7-7 tie, 3rd and 9 here for North Halton. They look to punt it away. And a line drive kick kind of dies right at around the 40-yard line of Chatham-Kent, picked up by Bayless. He gets some positive yards, turns the corner along that far side, trying to fight to midfield. And he does get to midfield before being forced out. Nice job by Bayless in some tough conditions.
Well, certainly the Cougars have got to take advantage here. Having the wind at their back, they missed an opportunity there with some great field position. They missed on the field goal attempt. You know, right now, certainly North Halton's thinking to themselves, if we can just keep them scoreless here in the 3rd quarter, we're going to have the wind at our back in the 4th quarter. And this is one of those games where it's going to be probably one of the last possessions that's going to win you the game. And having that wind at your back the way it's been going here today is just going to be a huge advantage. So the Cougars really need to capitalize here in the 3rd quarter.
Here's Evans back to pass on 1st and 10. And falls incomplete.
Looked like that was Ethan Smith that was the intended receiver. That ball just a little bit off target.
Here's Evans trying it again, scrambling to his right.
21. It was intended for 21.
And another incompletion will bring up 3rd down here for the Cougars. Smith couldn't haul it in.
Yeah, I was going to say it looked like that was Ethan Smith again, targeted on 2 consecutive plays.
Brings up a 3rd down and 10.
And hard to tell from up here in the booth. That ball looked like it bobbled around a little bit, and not sure if one of the Crimson Tide was able to get their hands on it, but as you mentioned, it falls incomplete, and Cougars forced to kick this one away here, 2 and out.
Low kick dug out of the turf again. The kick does get away, and not a long one by any stretch. And this will give North Halton great field position around the 50-yard line. Coming up on the 7-minute mark of the third quarter.
Punt is covered by North Halton.
And certainly you got to think that Josh Graham would love to have another shot at that one. With the wind the way it is, you really got to get that ball up in the air and take advantage of the situation that you have. And right now in this third quarter, the Cougars have let a couple opportunities here slip through their hands. And certainly you got to bear down, especially in the second half when a possible win is on the line.
11's quarterbacking again.
First and 10 for the Crimson Tide, 51-yard line as they go to the air on first down. An incomplete pass.
Broken up by 11.
And it is Connor Hagee back there at quarterback.
Pass intended for number 5, Kevin Brown.
Graham knocking it away for the Cougars, so Hagee out for just one series of plays. Back under center now, 7:37 to go in the third quarter, 7-7 tie.
Yeah, he's out there.
Keep pushing out there, defense, let's go!
He's on the front.
Cougars coming in 0-5. Their opponents tonight, the Crimson Tide, 1-3. Right now, anybody's football game. Hagee hands it off to the running back along that far side, trying to find some room. Nice job by the Cougars D to trip him up just past the line of scrimmage, so a minimal gain for North Halton. And that brings up third and long around midfield.
Great stop there from the Cougars.
Not too bad.
Great tackle there.
Great fill there.
The defender coming up and making a fantastic stop in a one-on-one tackle. You got to win those one-on-one battles, and Cougars have done a great job of that here tonight.
You wanna know?
One of the reasons why this is just a 7-7 game.
So that's
Let's go now, come on now, Cougars!
Kicked away along that far sideline.
Is that the three
Good
man
job by the
box?
Cougars D to ensure the football comes back
They got it right
to Chatham-Kent here in a 7-7 game. 6:35 to play, quarter number 3.
Work it out there, O-line, let's go!
First and 10 Cougars, they hand it off. And Schuen still on his feet. Up the middle on first and 10.
Holy smokes.
And Schuen with the carry.
They had like 10 players within like 2 yards.
Wrapped up by Brissett for the Crimson Tide, and about a 3-yard pickup on the ground for Schuen.
Yeah, not a lot of room there to roam for Schuen, and actually did a pretty good job getting the 2 or 3 yards that he did.
Gain of a couple on the play brings up second down and 8.
Yep, or just like I said, just read that corner.
Let's go now, Cougars!
Cougars calling timeout here.
I agree.
Not
You got
liking
you got
something they see.
get a pass like in that tight formation, I'm telling you, it's gonna go right.
So a minimal gain on that first and 10 run. 5:24 to go in the third quarter. Cougars looking for their first win of the campaign. 0-5 coming in here tonight, the varsity squad. And again, North Halton 1-3, playing one game less so far. The driving rain and wind, looks like neither one of those elements slowing down here. But as we mentioned earlier in the game, Mike, the field looking better than we anticipated looking at this point of the game.
Yeah, as we talked about earlier, maybe we can see 2 puddles, maybe 3 at the most, but for the most part, I mean, the field has held up tremendously considering the situation today. I mean, it hasn't stopped raining all day, and the field is held up very well. Not a lot of slipping and sliding from the players. So that's really the true telling point for a field and how well it's holding up and how good the drainage is. You're not seeing a lot of slipping and sliding, and these players, their footing is pretty good. So that's also helping with the quality of football that we're seeing so far.
We're seeing a couple of inside-out umbrellas, so it's that kind of night around here. Strong winds. Driving rain, too. 2nd and 9 off the timeout as the Cougars go up to the air. And almost a great reception up the middle, but in and out of the hands of the receiver for the Cougars. I think that might have been Richards up the middle.
Intended for number 86, Greg Richards.
And that would have been a big gain for Chatham-Kent, but instead it's a incompletion. An incompletion 3rd and 9 is what that sets up, and another kick.
Boy, oh boy, Greg Richards would probably still be running had he been able to pull that one in. And I don't think you thought it was going to get to him. It was actually deflected to him. It looked like it was behind him, and he just kind of was like, oh, this is going to fall incomplete. Next thing you know, it's tipped to him, and it caught him off guard, and understandably so.
Kick comes back to the 45-yard line for North Halton, not quite to midfield from that return. And Knowles, the return man. So now the Crimson Tide will take over on offense, still in a 7-7 deadlock, and a score we've been at for quite some time now, as we are less than 5 minutes until the end of the third quarter.
Let's go up there, defense!
They keep it on the ground, and a nice run right up the middle, pretty close to first down yardage. A good 10-yard run, it appears, for the Crimson Tide.
With the carry, stopped by number 70, Josh Pita.
And they are now going to signal first down for North Halton, so a 10-yard run.
That run is good enough for a first down.
Again, they hand it off to the running back up the middle. And
Number 21, Elsie Akwasi on the carry.
Akwasi doing a good job on the ground tonight for the Crimson Tide as he gets the carry once again. And about a 5-yard job that time around. So 2nd and 5 coming up, 3.5 to play.
North Halton's rushing to the line here. They're trying to mix things up, get their offense going in sync.
And eluding one tackle and 2 tackles, finally brought down for a loss. 3rd time's a charm for the Cougars D. And Tavon Brown, carrier for the Crimson Tide. But that time, the Cougars D rising to the challenge and setting the football back.
Yeah, Alex Valahora eventually making the tackle, but great job by the defense and one of his defensive teammates that came up to make the initial hit and drive the running back backwards, and then Valahora does a great job coming in to clean it up. Nice job by the defense, and 3rd down now, and this wind I think is just starting to pick up again. Some strong gusts, and North Halton going to try to kick it into the wind. You can just see it from the jackets, from some of the rain jackets from some of the officials down on the field and the stick volunteers.
3rd and 10. Kick is up and comes out of bounds inside the 30-yard line.
Kick goes out of bounds.
About the 26 or so is what they're saying for the football. So that's going to be the starting position for the Cougars as they again will take over on offense. Under 3 to play in quarter number 3 in a 7-7 game.
Well, you got to give North Halton credit. They did a pretty good job of gaining some field position, eventually having to kick it away, and it wasn't a booming kick by any means, but a 20-yard kick at the most. But the Cougars now in their own territory. Again, just 2:48 to go here in the third quarter, and a strong wind at their back. And, of course, having that wind at your back is an advantage in this game for sure. And that advantage is less than 3 minutes from flipping over to North Halton here. So you'd certainly like to see the Cougars get on a drive here and put some points on the board before the end of the quarter.
And a reception for the Cougars, and big play here for Chatham-Kent, exactly what they need. Now a flag comes out at the end of that play around the 50-yard line. But a big gain there for the Cougars. Let's see if it will stand. Got to find out the call here.
And that flag came in late at the end of the play. You wonder if it was a face mask, perhaps. It came in just as the tackle was being made, so it leads you to believe it was something right at the end of that play. Oh, looks like they're picking up the flag. They're going to say no penalty on the play.
No flag.
That's indeed the case. So
the 22-yard pass completion does stand.
22-yard pickup for the Cougars. Trying to break this tie before the end of the third quarter, 7-7.
Chatham-Kent 50-yard line.
Let's go. Let's go.
Under 2 to play. They go up the middle once again. Schuhen right to midfield. And a good 5-yard pickup on 1st and 10. So a manageable 2nd and 5 coming up.
No, sorry. That was 20.
Yeah, nice pickup there from Schuhen. Good blocking up front again there from that offensive line. Gets a couple yards into that defense before he's touched for the first time, and then able to drive those legs and push the defenders back. 2nd and 5 here, a manageable 2nd down yardage.
Let's go. Way too much time.
Again, a minute 10 and counting to go here in the third quarter.
On 2nd and 5, they keep it on the ground once again, short of what they need for the first down. Pick up of about 3 or so on 2nd and 5. So a 3rd and short coming up here. They need to get past the 50-yard line, just past for the first down.
Yeah, it's going to be a 3rd and a long 2, looks like.
Brings up 3rd down and 2.
Looks like Cougars going to go for it here.
Keep pushing, Cougars! Let's go!
It's a big attempt here on 3rd down, just before the end of the third quarter.
And they hand it off to Tanner Schuhen, who gets the assignment, and he will get more than enough for the first down. So on 3rd and 2, that's who you want to hand it off to. And Schuhen gets the first down.
Makes his way out to the North Halton 50-yard line, which is good enough for a first down.
One last play.
And this will be the final play of quarter number 3.
Well, do you let the wind help determine the play here and try to get in a long passing play with the wind at your back and try to take advantage of it for the last time before you switch sides?
Well, we've mentioned that we've seen more passing plays than we initially expected, but they do keep it on the ground on 1st and 10. And up the middle, a few positive yards here from Gagne, who got that assignment. And that will be the end of the third quarter. And we're still in a 7-7 tie here at the Athletic Complex in Chatham-Kent. Mike Renier along with Mike James. Jeff Brooks on the camera tonight with TV Coach Co and the Chatham-Kent Cougars. Find out more at chatham-kentcougars.com for the rest of the 2015 schedule.
I'd like to welcome Mother Nature to the broadcast this evening.
She has made herself more than noticed. As you look at the light standards over there, you can see exactly how much the rain is falling and blowing in tandem. And that Canadian flag back in the distance also showing you how strong that wind is. Looks like it's coming out of the northwest.
Yeah, we're certainly lucky enough to be up here in the booth, and out of that strong wind and rain. Now the Cougars going to have to try to finish off this drive going into that strong wind that we're talking about. And again, that's going to play into their decision, should they need to, thinking about a field goal at some point.
A key 2nd and 5 play here. Again, a little fake to the running back, but they go to the air and it drops incomplete. Couple of Cougars in the general area, but it drops on the turf incomplete. So this will be a 3rd and 5 now for the Cougars. Again, from the 41-yard line of North Halton.
And that one intended for Ethan Bayless, and looked like he was just able to get his fingertips on it at the same time as a defender. And they're going to go for it here, and I don't blame them. Certainly the position that they're in terms of the field position and also the weather that they're playing into now, might as well roll the dice.
3rd and 5 to the running back, trying to get that needed yardage. And it looks like they've got it. Good job by Schuhen to turn the corner and get what he needs to move the chains. First. It was short. From that angle, pardon me, I thought he got about 1 or 2 more than he needed, but pardon me, that is a turnover on down, so bit of a mistake on my part.
Well, it's certainly not easy to see the markers in these conditions. So, but yeah, unfortunately, the Cougars just not able to get that first down yardage and turn it over on downs here to North Halton.
So now they get the wind advantage. Back to pass, a little swing pass along that far side, and was that ruled an incomplete or a sideways fumble? I think it's an incomplete pass. The receiver was chasing after that loose ball on the turf just to be sure. But that pass from Connor Heggie falling on the turf, so 2nd and 10.
Good job, OKP! Let's go!
Certainly the difference here is, though, like the entire playbook is open for North Halton now with the wind at their back. I mean, you're not limited in terms of throwing the ball deep down the field at all. You can call whatever you want here, and certainly that's going to be the advantage that the Crimson Tide have in the 4th quarter. As that wind the gusts start to pick up again. They come in ebbs and flows, and certainly just kind of swooping up right now.
Let's go now, Green!
2nd and 10 for North Halton. This time they go to the ground up the middle and getting through a couple of would-be tacklers to, I believe, first down yardage.
Number 21 on the carry. There is a flag.
And that is, again, Akwasi with an impressive run.
Flag just fell out of his pocket. Eric Penny on the stop.
And 1st and 10 for North Halton as they keep things moving. And that wind continues to increase
Ball is at the Chatham-Kent.
as we get into the meat of the 4th quarter in this game. 7-7 remains the score.
No, they're not doing it because they don't want to fumble the snap.
Heggie again, dropping back to pass. A little short pass along that far side, and does it come loose?
Pass falls incomplete.
No, they're going to call an incomplete pass, I guess. That was close. His players are swarming.
That was a fantastic hit there. I think that was Alex Valahora. Just absolutely destroyed the running back who was waiting on that football to arrive. And guess what? Valahora arrived at the same time and just absolutely annihilated him right into the ground. Could hear that hit clearly all the way up here, and those are those fun ones that you love to hear. Just a great shot, clean. That's some good football.
Closing in on the 3-minute mark of the 4th quarter again. North Halton keeps it on the ground, but running into a wall right at the line of scrimmage at the 50-yard line. And that's going to be a 3rd down coming up now. Only about a yard, if that, on that run.
I gotta say, I've really been impressed with this Cougars defense here tonight. They've done a fantastic job. The one-on-one battles, they for the most part, they've made the tackles one-on-one, which have been really impressive. And they've been gang tackling all night, which you love to see. Everybody running to the football. This is probably the best performance from the defense that I've seen all year, and really, really nice to see here at home.
3rd and 9, back to punt it away, and now a fake punt as they're going for first down, and they're going to get it on the fake past the 40-yard line. Great job there by Cadwallader. Faking out the defense for the Cougars, and it works like a charm for North Halton. Into good field position deep into Cougars territory, and they still have a first down coming up here.
Boy, Cadwallader just takes the wind out of the sails of the Cougars. He's the one that we saw with the punt return for a touchdown earlier in this game in the first quarter, and he's shown you that he's got speed and elusiveness, and right there he shows you that speed, gets the corner no problem, and picks up a huge chunk of yardage to give North Halton this great field position here and keep this drive going. Nice call there from the Crimson Tide coaching staff.
Back to pass along that far side, almost picked off a couple of fingertips. And now a flag comes out of the end of that play.
Broke up by number 25.
How's that a pass interference?
Pass broken up by Ethan Bayless. There is a flag down.
Subjectional contact.
I think this one's going to go against the Crimson Tide. I think after the play was over.
Ooh.
Oh, this one is against the Cougars.
Why?
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying I see them, they both had them at the same time, so I'm saying you give it to whoever you
Oh, they're saying he pushed off.
Oh.
They're the other ones that pushed off.
It sounds like they're saying it was against the Cougars, which is
Oh, they called
Penalty
me
goes against
intentional.
Chatham-Kent.
hard to believe there.
Yeah, very hard.
That's... And you can hear the coaching staff from the Cougars all the way up here in the booth disputing that call. And I got to say, from our vantage point, I can see why that call is hard to understand the way that was defended. I mean, it was a great job by Ethan Bayless to go attack that ball at its highest point. Now it looks like they're assessing another penalty against the Cougars
Bad.
because of the jawing. So pass interference and then objectionable conduct.
Goes against Chatham-Kent.
So
Tack on another
I gotta
10
say
yards,
those
down to the own 15-yard line.
that first pass interference call, I'm trying to understand that one. I
Like
don't.
he had a vertical leap,
Yeah.
and he just swatted it out of the air like a basketball center.
Yeah, he went and attacked the ball at its highest point, and maybe somebody needs to give a lesson after this game. But that was clearly a missed call.
And almost intercepted on that pass attempt from Connor Heggie. That was almost a clear-cut interception by the Cougars, but it's dropped.
Hagee pass almost intercepted by Ethan Bayless.
And 2nd and 10 coming up.
Boy, wouldn't that have been sweet redemption had Ethan Bayless intercepted that football and returned it. I mean, he would have had nothing but green pastures in front of him. Well, I mean, it's a tough position for the Cougars defense, but you know what? They got to put that play in the past. I mean, whether they like the call or not, you got to put it behind you and continue to play here. You're in a 7-all game with under 10 minutes to go now.
15-yard line of the Cougars, and now the ball comes loose, and it is recovered again by North Halton. So a couple of
Covered by the quarterback.
near
Hagee.
chances for the Cougars D for a turnover, one with a possible interception, that time there with a near fumble recovery, but the quarterback Heggie gets it back himself for North Halton. 2-yard loss, so the football back to the 17, but still in the possession of the Crimson Tide.
Well, it's not that. It's just the important part of the game.
And they will look to kick a field goal here to take the lead.
Yeah, of course the coach is asking.
Gotta block them, Cougars!
Sometimes you have to listen. They want an explanation, but it came out late. That's why they flipped that.
Number one's kicking. Yeah, well, last one, yeah. Maybe it was one.
Tanner Cadwallader on the field goal attempt. Kick is up and wide, but it hits
Field goal
the
attempt is wide.
track around the field, so that is going to be a single point for North Halton. And they do grab the lead, the first point in more than a couple of quarters here. An 8-7 lead now for the Crimson Tide.
Well, good job by the Cougars defense to overcome that situation where certainly it was a call that they didn't feel was worthy of being made, a penalty going against them, and then of course the penalty that was tacked on to that for arguing the call. But ultimately the Cougars only give up a single point, and you got to be happy with that. You know, you got to put it behind you now, as I mentioned, and it's an 8-7 game. You got 9-11 to go here in the fourth quarter. So, again, this is still anybody's football game.
But they should have done it right after. They were just marking it off right away.
6 minutes gone by in this fourth quarter. 8-7 Crimson Tide now with the lead, and now a botched snap hits the ground and through a big puddle. The Cougars recover it and just barely getting back to the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 10 coming up.
Tyrese Brissett brings him down.
Yeah, Kelton Evans not able to hold on to that football, dropping back to pass, and it just slips out of his hands. Lucky enough to pick it up and get back to the original line of scrimmage.
2nd down and 10.
Cougars, though, it's going to be key here if they can at least pick up a first down and get out from deep in their own end. Not give North Halton some great field position.
Pass along that far side, a completion for the Cougars from Evans. And first down yardage.
Clayton Shreve on the pass reception.
Shreve holds it
Oh,
in.
they finally. Hey,
They
look,
finally right in your play.
Forced out of bounds.
Good job, Cougars!
Under 8 to play now.
But they can't miss one.
Pass completion of 11
Oh,
yards.
nice job there, picking up the first down. Just a
Against 46
simple
yard
just snap and throw and let your receiver make a play. Clayton Shreve uses his speed to get to the outside and picks up just enough to get that first down, and they keep the chains moving.
Evans to pass along the near side now, trying to find Bayless. And it goes off his fingertips, falling incomplete past the 50-yard line. So 2nd and 10 now.
Incomplete pass brings up 2nd down and 10.
Seamus got him a couple dollars there too. That wasn't.
Go now, Green!
That's a tough one still. Well, that's why I thought people will really probably start creeping up because they're going up. I'm hoping they're top.
2nd and 10.
Oh, they're not getting down. Go top. There you go.
Evans gets the football away and finds his man, a completed pass. Nice job and hauled in by Clayton Shreve past midfield around the 53-yard line into North Halton territory. Nice diving catch by Shreve.
Fantastic diving catch by Shreve there. Good job by Kelton Evans, too, directing his receiver as he's scrambling out of the pocket. Shreve gets both arms out and his hands on that football, diving to make the grab, and just enough for a first down. And the Cougars have something cooking here with just over 6 minutes to play.
Up the middle once again, past the 50-yard line, close to a 5-yard pickup.
99 on the tackle.
Tanner Schuin on the carry.
Who's number 50? He's hurt a little bit.
Good job out there, offense!
Nope. But the thing is, that we have no one out there either.
On 2nd and 5, to the ground they go once again, and trying to turn that corner. Gabe Gagne on the carry that time, a little short of the first down by about a yard, it appears.
And by doing that, you got less help on the outside. So
Oh, Cougars clearly going to go for it here. 3rd and about one, as you mentioned, maybe two.
3-yard gain brings up a 3rd down and 2.
And this is obviously shoe-in territory.
We have no receiver out there, that's why.
Give it to your bigger running back. Try and push that pile. This is a big play here for both of these teams.
3rd and seems to be a short 2 here for the Cougars. 45-yard line. Again on the ground. A little resistance up the middle. And did they get enough? I don't think they got to the line of scrimmage, or barely line of scrimmage, but it appears to be short for what they need.
There is a flag on the field. We'll have to see what the call is here.
Offside on the defense is the infraction.
Against North Halton.
First down for the Cougars. So
Boy,
what a
oh
bullet
boy.
dodged there for Chatham-Kent.
Well, some people use the term makeup call, perhaps. I mean, but whatever the case may be, a 3rd and 2, and you come up short, but there's an offside call against the defense. So the Cougars fortunate there, that good timing for that call, and keeps this drive going.
To the 40. And they air it out now down the near side, and falling down was Bayless. No flag on the play as he loses his footing.
Now we're seeing the footing playing a factor, and that's a shame too. Like, I mean, Kelton Evans is putting everything he can into that throw, and the wind is just too strong. That ball is going to hang up, and it's going to duck in the air. But those underthrown balls are easier for the receiver to adjust to than the defensive back. And had Bayless been able to keep his footing, he probably would have had a good shot at catching that football.
Under 4 to play in this 4th quarter. Cougars down by 1. They go back to the ground and evading a tackle the first go-around, but into a pile and brought down just past the 40
Tanner Shewan fights his way for a few
for
yards.
maybe a pickup of 2. But a 3rd and 7 coming up now for the Cougars. And against the wind.
And we've got an injured player down on the field. One of the, looks like a defensive lineman from North Halton. Looks like a left leg injury and needing some help getting off the field. It looks like that's Brendan Ward getting helped off, so you hope that's nothing too serious, and you hate to see somebody getting carried like that, having trouble putting pressure on that leg. But this is a huge play again here, 3rd and about 7, it looks like, 6 or 7 for the Cougars, and they really need this drive to stay alive. 3:31 and counting here in the in this football game, trailing by just 1 point, looking for their first win of the season.
Third and 7. Here's Evans scrambling to his left, passing it across the far way, and it's going to be a turnover on downs now as the football goes back to North Halton.
Pass is incomplete.
Ball falls to the turf, and now time running out on the Cougars to try and get their first win of this season at 0-5 coming in.
Well, the pressure now flips over to the defense. They've got to get the job done. Certainly plenty of time to get the ball back to the offense, and the defense has been pretty stellar in this football game. They've only given up 1 point, if you remember. And really, I don't even want to put that on the defense, but I mean, it was a single point that went through the back of the end zone. The only touchdown for North Halton is a punt return for a touchdown, so special teams.
They go to the air, and almost a good catch there by Tavon Brown, but it falls incomplete. In and out of his hands around midfield.
Boy, the Cougars got a little bit lucky there. Brandon Shanks loses his footing, the defensive back, number 10, And he was helpless basically on the ground, and luckily that ball falls incomplete.
They're passing to me.
Looked like Brown had it. Just couldn't hang on, so 2nd and 10.
No kidding. Oh, sorry.
3-minute warning has been signaled.
Probably shouldn't be running now.
Now the quarterback keeps it himself, running room right up the middle, and
Oh, he wasn't down. Wow.
Cougars might have got a little bit of a present there. I don't know if
Number 1 under center keeps the ball, calls his own number.
Codwaller was down or not, but they ruled him down past the 40-yard line.
Danny Levesque on the stop.
3rd down and 5 now.
And obviously now the Cougars, in the back of their minds, they got to keep that fake punt
They've been
as a
burned by
thought.
that already.
Yeah, they have at a critical juncture in this game, and obviously another critical juncture, but 2:20 to go, not likely. But again, I mean, all bets are off. You can never be 100% sure.
2:12 left and counting, and it will be a punt.
Oh, no.
And it gets past the Cougars' return man all the way around the 25-yard line. Still trying to find some room along the near side. Still evading a couple of tackles and brought down. Does the ball come loose? And does North Halton get it? Now it is the Cougars who will keep the football. Some excitement at the end of that play, however.
Yeah, North Halton's arguing that ball was loose before the runner was down, but the official saying that he was down before the ball came out.
It's on my hands now.
Let's go now, Cougars!
Cougars begin at their own 21-yard line.
The Cougars a long way to go here, trailing by 1 point. Tough position into the wind, and boy, that's not just any wind. Those are gale force winds.
Might be overstating it just a little, but still bad conditions as the Cougars have a long way to go, and a flag comes out at the end of the play.
Elton Evans keeps the ball. There is a flag down.
Nowhere to go with the football with Evans, so he hangs on to it.
Turn around, buddy.
55.
We're just waiting to hear the call here. Oh, number 90 red flagged for unnecessary roughness. Free 15 yards there for the Cougars.
That is big.
Ball is now at the Chatham-Kent 35-yard line.
Come on now, Cougars!
On 1st and 10, a quick pass. It is completed.
Wow.
Not much in terms of yards after the catch, however.
Yeah, he'll get forward progress from where he made that catch initially, so.
25.
Oh, actually, wow.
Pass
I'm
completely
surprised
failed.
actually where the mark is. Because he was over the 40-yard line when he made the catch and was spun backwards by the defenders. I thought they were going to mark that on the other side of the 40-yard line, but they're going to mark it back behind about a yard and a half.
Three-yard pickup, 2nd and 7.
Oh, it slipped out of his hand.
Ball is loose on the ground.
I think they're going to say it's incomplete here. It looked like that ball slipped out of his hand as he was trying to throw it.
Covered by Gabe Gagne.
No, they're saying it's a fumble.
It was going forward.
Yeah, they're saying it was a fumble.
Timeout Chatham-Kent.
And now Chatham-Kent calling a timeout.
1:13 to go, 4th quarter. 8-7 North Halton with a very slim lead, but still a long way to go for the Cougars. 38-yard line.
No, I know.
Certainly not a great situation here for the Cougars. Just over their own 30-yard line. A 3rd and 14 with 1:13 to go, trailing by just 1 point. And would just be such an agonizing and disappointing situation should they not be able to keep this drive going.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he should not be carried as yard marker. He's done it before.
Let's go now, Cougars!
What's that?
3rd and 14 for the Cougars, going to the air, airing it out and falling into no man's land. And that was Bayless who heaved that one in the air. And that's going to turn things over to North Halton now with 1:06 left to go in this 4th quarter. Cougars down by 1 point.
Well, that's the challenge when you're back there, knowing that you've got to air the football out, but you're throwing into these strong gusts of wind. You're trying to put everything you can into it, and you've got a slick ball in your hand, and it just is not a good situation at all. And again, that ball, it just flutters in the air, it slips out of your hand, and there's just nothing that you can do about it.
Come on now, defense! Strip that ball!
Don't let them do it.
Because he got that.
21's got the ball. Oh, nice tackle.
21 on the carry.
On 1st and 10. Again, that's Kwasi who had the carry. Been a busy young man for the Crimson Tide on the ground tonight.
2-yard gain on the play brings up 2nd down and 8.
Listen to Penny.
By the sounds of it, sounds like the quarterback's just going to keep it. This is going to be a
Flag down.
Time.
Yeah.
Delay
delay
a game.
a game call here.
Delay a game call goes against North Halton. Loss of down on the play brings up 3rd down and 8.
We had about 10 minutes to clock.
Already made the quarter sign for the last time.
So 3rd down now with 35.4 seconds to go, and looks like North Halton's going to call a timeout here. Well, interesting decision time here for the coaching staff for North Halton. Do you want to attempt a field goal and risk it being blocked? Likely not. I mean, at this point, you'd love to get that at least a point and kick it out the end of the end zone. So maybe you just line up to punt it out the back of the end zone, or do you run a play trying to get the 1st down and leave Chatham-Kent pinned deep in their own end with, about 30 seconds to go?
Gotta block them, Cougars!
We had time clocks, those would be running right now.
On 3rd and 9.
He does that every
scrambling with the football. He's just getting time off the clock. And tripped up inside the 40-yard line on that 3rd and 9 play. So the turnover on downs, 26 seconds left in the 4th quarter.
I don't know if that's what North Halton, the coaching staff, was looking for there. I understand they're getting Cadwallader to run around with the football and take some time off the clock, but at the same time, you don't want to give up yardage. You've just helped out Chatham-Kent, and you just gave them about 15 yards for free when you could have had them pinned well deep in their own end. I mean, it's still a difficult situation as this wind picks up again, but certainly better than what it could have been.
The 42-yard line. Cougars have one last kick of the can here. Evans, a short pass alongside, and this is a fumble here. The original pass intended for Shreve. And it is complete, fumbled, and turned over. It was ruled a completed catch. And then Shreve looked to dump it off to, I think it might have been Bayless who he was trying to shovel the football to. Ruled as a fumble, a lost fumble, and then North Halton recovers.
That's so disappointing. I think Ethan Bayless was unsure if that ball was live or not because the exchange wasn't clean, but the lateral was backwards, and North Halton now just able to take a knee and run this one out. And boy, this has just got to be a heartbreaking loss for the Cougars. Fall by 1 point.
The refs are saying,
He dance around and looks over and says something to one of our guys. Like, oh, well,
And the final kneel down will secure the victory for the North Halton Crimson Tide in a tough loss for the Cougars. They're 6th in a row, and they lose 8-7 to North Halton. And the Varsity Cougars remain winless on this campaign, give the Crimson Tide their 2nd victory of the year. They're now 2-3. They snap a 3-game losing streak. In very tough football conditions, but still, no matter what the weather is, you just got to, this is a tough one to swallow for Chatham-Kent.
Yeah, certainly a disappointing result the way that game went. Again, the touchdown for North Halton came on a punt return on the very first punt for the Cougars. The very first time that North Halton touched the football, they returned it for a 65-yard touchdown. And then in the 4th quarter, they had a single point on a missed field goal, and that's the difference in this one. And that's extremely tough to swallow. I mean, good on the Cougars for such a close game, but at the same time, it just makes it that much harder to take when it's a 1-point loss. But nonetheless, it was a well-played football game, entertaining, no doubt, and certainly the weather added to the stigma of this one. But unfortunately, the Cougars just not able to pull this one out in a close one here at the Athletic Complex.
8-7 final. The North Halton Crimson Tide over the Chatham-Kent Cougars in varsity football in the OFC. So they'll keep searching for their first victory of the 2015 season. Thanks for watching with TV Coach Co. My name is Mike Renier, alongside Mike James, Jeff Brooks on the camera. We'll talk to you again soon with Chatham-Kent Cougars football on TV Coach Co.